News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Alexis Christoforous. Here are the stories we're following today.
Alexis, we begin with the latest developments in the war in the Middle East. The U.S. and Iran are considering a second round of talks before their two-week ceasefire ends next week. Reuters is reporting negotiating teams from both sides could return to Islamabad this week. Vice President J.D. Vance led the discussions that broke down over the weekend. He was asked on Fox News about the prospect of a second round.
Are there more talks coming? Do they happen in Pakistan, and are you leading them?
Well, it's an interesting question, Brett, and I think fundamentally it's a question that would be best put to the Iranians because the ball really is in their court. We've made clear where we're willing, again, to be accommodating, and we've made clear where we absolutely need to see the nuclear material come out of the country of Iran.
Vice President J.D. Vance spoke with Fox's Brett Baier as President Trump presses ahead with a naval blockade on Iran. Bloomberg's Owner Aunt has more from Dubai.
The blockade is aimed at intercepting or stopping any oil or other vessels going into or out of the Persian Gulf if one of their destinations is Iran. So in theory, it should bring to nearly zero what was already a trickle of regular traffic through the Strait of Hormuz.
Bloomberg's Owner Aunt reports a sanctioned vessel linked to China is testing the blockade. A medium-range tanker named Rich Starry is trying to exit the strait for the second time in less than 24 hours.
And Nathan, Chinese President Xi Jinping is making his first remarks on the Iran war since the U.S. and Israel began attacks more than a month ago. Xi is vowing to play a constructive role in the Middle East. At a meeting with Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, Xi said that peace must be prioritized.
Both China and Spain are principled and moral countries, both willing to stand on the right side of history. We should strengthen communication, consolidate mutual trust, cooperate closely, oppose the world's regression to the law of the jungle, and jointly safeguard genuine multilateralism and global peace and development.
Chinese President Xi Jinping, speaking there through an interpreter, described the international order as, quote, crumbling into disarray.
Well, with the war underway, Alexis, President Trump has been feuding with Pope Leo XIV. That has led to a controversy on social media. The president posted an AI-generated image that seemed to depict him as a Christ-like figure healing a sick patient. He has since deleted that photo, but he says it wasn't an accident.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support, and only the fake news could come up with that one.
President Trump called Pope Leo weak on crime after the pontiff spoke out against the war. The president didn't explain why he deleted the post, but it did spark a backlash, including from some of his supporters. Vice President Vance told Fox News the president took it down because people didn't understand his humor.
A couple of departures from Congress on both sides of the aisle. Democrat Eric Swalwell and Republican Tony Gonzales said they plan on leaving their seats in the wake of allegations of sexual misconduct. Swalwell announced his intent to resign, saying he must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes he did make, while also vowing to fight the serious false allegations made against him. Gonzales said he planned on filing his retirement from office after allegations that he had an affair with a staffer who later died by suicide.
Okay, let's turn to the markets now, Alexis. Futures are indicating the recent Wall Street rally has legs. Right now, S&P futures are up 0.3% or 19 points. The S&P 500 index has now erased all its losses since the start of the war. Max Wasserman is senior portfolio manager at Miramar Capital.
Every word the president says, the market makes a move, right? And it seems to want to discount any potential negativity towards the positive uptrend. So to me, this market is basically discounting nothing negative and is extremely optimistic.
Miramar Capital's Max Wasserman. The S&P 500 had fallen almost 8% since the war. Meanwhile, West Texas Intermediate oil prices climbed 51% in March. Checking crude this morning, it's pulling back a bit, with WTI crude down about 2.5% at $96.58 per barrel, while Brent is down 1.1% at $98.27.
And Nathan, we are seeing more effects of the war. The International Energy Agency says global oil demand will decline this year for the first time since the 2020 pandemic. The IEA says the war has triggered the biggest supply disruption in history because oil flows through the Persian Gulf's vital Strait of Hormuz have been choked off. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Alexis Christoforous.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.